Dale, merci, azért hala boro. Boro boro. Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? Hey guys, welcome back to Grass Life. My name is Yas and I'm going to be your Grass Life guru. Don't you think it's ironic that the leader of the most powerful country in the world doesn't believe in climate change? And don't you think that the 1 year that he gets elected, Mother Nature turns around and says, "Look what I can do. You don't think I exist? Watch me." Let me start by saying that my heart goes out to all of those individuals affected by the natural disasters that have happened this year. All of those humans that have lost their homes and lives, animals whose habitats that have been completely obliterated, and those trees whose whole communities have been burnt to the ground. Now before we get serious, let's get conspiracious. Conspiracy theorists. Do you remember about 5 years ago in 2012 when the Mayans predicted that the world was going to come to an end? That's right, I'm talking about the 2012 apocalypse. Now here's my theory. What if the Mayans, who were writing out the calendar, didn't have the neatest handwriting? So their 7s looked like a 2. Kind of like this. And... hey! Oh my goodness! Would you look at that? It looks like a 2 and not a 7 anymore. Honey, 2012, what about 2017? Maybe that's what happened. So maybe 2017 is the end of the world. There hasn't been much to prove it otherwise. All of the floods, fires, earthquakes, weird abnormal temperatures at different times of the year, like snow in April. In BC alone, let me backtrack. BC stands for British Columbia, and it is a province in Canada, for those of you who do not know your Canadian geography. You're welcome. In British Columbia alone, over 700,000 hectares of forests have been set ablaze, and some of those fires are still burning. And that's just this year alone. So what causes forest fires, you ask? Let me tell you. Forest fires ultimately have to have really dry conditions, and this is caused by very minimal or no rainfall at all in the season, which is what we've had in the interior and some of never eat shredded wheat. Some of the western British Columbia and some of Oregon. You know, I'm not just gonna single myself out and play victim. Everybody here is a victim. So when conditions are extremely dry, the forest floor as well as the trees become kindling. Very dry pieces of wood that can catch fire very easily and spread fire. When there is very dry conditions, usually there is a campfire ban, which means you and your friends cannot go into the forest and have a bonfire and drink and party and whatever. You can drink and party, but just don't have a big bonfire. Campfires, people going into the forest and playing with fireworks, or even if you're taking a smoke, you take that last drag and you flick the butt into the forest without actually putting the little cigarette butt out, you can cause a forest fire. Now the more common reason for forest fires starting is that the very dry conditions also cause lightning. Lightning is that spark that you need to cause the fire, and the fire spreads literally like a rapid fire. Because of these forest fires, thousands of people have had to evacuate their homes because the air quality has been too thick and dense, full of ash and smoke for them to breathe. This can actually cause so many health conditions as well as heart failure. What was that? Just hacked up a furball. As well as heart failure. Further down south in the Caribbean as well as the southern United States, they've been hit by a different kind of natural disaster. Violent hurricanes. These hurricanes have left thousands of people homeless as well as entire towns flooded with water. In addition to these natural disasters, we've had an unusually long, cold, weird winter, which has caused bee populations to actually decline. Now I know what you're thinking. Bees are annoying, they buzz around, they sting you and you swell up. But honey, we need these bees to survive. Bees are one of the leading pollinators for flowers and plants. So if plants can't reproduce, then humans and other animals can't survive either. Plants are literally the #1 link in our food chain. So if they're gone, then we're gone. We are killing ourselves. Since humans are all about themselves, if you want to survive, you need those bees to survive and thrive. That should be another hit single, Survive and Thrive. So how is this all related to climate change? It has to do with how much damage we as humans do to ecosystems and ultimately that atmosphere that is protecting us from the sun and keeping all of the oxygen and breathable gases into the planet. A brilliant astrophysics professor at UBC, whose name I can't really remember because I was too focused on what he was saying that I didn't take note of his name, but he said that if the world was scaled down to the size of an apple, the atmosphere would be the thin skin that covers the apple. That is an extremely thin and delicate atmosphere that we need to be protecting. So what kind of human activities affect this atmosphere that is floating above us? Animal agriculture. Burning of fossil fuels. So any kind of transportation, cars, airplanes, boats, motorcycles, if you put gasoline in it, honey, you are contributing to climate change. Destruction of the environment to construct buildings for houses and recreational facilities that we probably don't need because, honey, we got a lot of those and we don't need another one. And that's just to name a few. My homeboy Hank Green from CrashCourse. Just kidding, we are not homeboys. I wish. He probably doesn't even know that I exist. But if I work my hard little booty off, hard. My booty's not hard, it's kind of squishy like a Jell-O cup. Irrelevant. Maybe one day if I work my booty off hard enough and I become a acknowledgeable science guy, Hank will give me a tweet or acknowledge me somehow, but for the time being, you my homeboy Hank in my mind, in my brain, in my delusional ways of thinking. In his episode Vascular Plants equals winning, he said something that really shook me to the core and I would like to share it with all of you. Hank Green says, plants are not only responsible for making rain happen, they are also the first and most important link in our food chain. That's why the world's most plant-rich habitats, like the rainforests and grasslands, are so crucial to our survival. When these habitats change, everything changes. Weather, food supply, even incidences of natural disaster. He said this in 2012. 5 years ago, and yet we as a species ignored all scientific rationale because we thought that whatever we're doing on the grand scheme of things isn't putting a single dent into anything. Boy, were we wrong. What do you mean you're not damaging the earth? Before you go, let me plant this little fact into that lush green noggin garden that you've got going up there. The number one cause of deforestation of the Amazon rainforest is cattle ranching. Wait up. So you're telling me that the Amazon rainforest, the most lush and diverse biome that produces the most oxygen on this planet for us to breathe in, is being destroyed and clear-cutted so some cows can be raised to feed you a hamburger? Something doesn't seem right here. Maybe we should reevaluate that logic here. Go vegan. Go vegan. Go vegan. Go vegan. Go vegan. Go vegan. Alright girls, I think they get it. You get the point. You should go vegan. Alright, you guys have probably had enough weirdo yes for one day, so I'ma let you go. But don't forget to keep on shining and just being you. Mwah. Peace out, hippies.